so darn cute. I just want to ball him up and just love on him. He's a cuddler though?
Oh, yeah.
Aww. He loves the mama. Yes, we're talking about Zane.
Hi. I didn't know we were on yet. We were fiddling around with the dog. He's chewing on something. Anyway, how you doing today? It's a shitty, snowy winter day in April.
Yeah, go figure, right?
I don't know. It looks like it stopped. At least here it's not snowing now.
It's still going, but real light.
Is it water or
It's
snow?
it's very watery, slush.
Water.
Yeah, it's nasty. Roads are. You can see your parking lot's like really just good inch.
Yay for us. Pure
Welcome to-
Michigan and all that good stuff, right?
Welcome to Michigan, where you can get all 3 seasons either in a day or a week.
Right. Sometimes in an hour.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes an hour.
Yeah.
I think it's why our motto is wait 5 minutes, it'll change.
Yeah. I wonder if other states use that too.
I'm wondering.
I bet they do.
They have to.
I'm sure.
I have to.
All right. So we're just waiting here, killing time, waiting to see who's going to jump on here and listen to us, listen to our foolishness. Anybody there? Hello? Hello?
Hello. Go.
Oh, somebody's on. I don't know who, but somebody.
Well, whoever's on, say hi.
Oh, we got two.
Woohoo. Actually, that's just not us. We're reflecting our energies back.
What? Doing what?
I'm sure that's just not us reflecting our energies back.
Reflecting. That's not what I thought you said.
I figured. That's why I reiterated again.
Did you hear what I heard? What the hell? She's always throwing words around, you know.
They're real words, I promise.
Yeah, that was a real word. Jesus. It's getting brassier and brassier.
You inspire me.
Yeah. Me in a minute.
No, never.
Lordy
Never.
mercy.
You still scare me. So you still scare me. Any woman that can sit there and talk her mind and ride a Harley at the same time scares me.
If I don't ride a Harley, I'm not a Harley girl. It's a Kawasaki.
Okay, either way. You still scare me.
My sister's a Harley girl.
See? Okay, now that's doubly scares me because it's not just you that rides a bike, it's just yeah, okay.
And my daughter. She rides a Honda.
I'm so
And
cool.
my nephew rides a, I don't know what Dustin rides, I can't remember. It's a crotch rocket, I know that.
Yeah. Not only do you inspire, but you insert fear where it needs to be.
Okay.
That's
All right.
awesome. That is awesome Fran power.
I'm walking, I'll have my leather on.
I'll be on the ground as a pool.
Hi, Ellen. Hi, honey. I haven't seen you or talked to you in 100 years. How you doing? She used to live up here. I like
Heather.
Hi, Heather. Yeah. Oh,
Actually,
what? Oh, we are kind of coordinated, aren't we?
I didn't even realize that until she said that.
I didn't either. Nancy. Whoa, babe. How you doing? All right.
No, we did not color coordinate purposely because honestly, Heather, I just noticed it, so did she.
Yeah.
And we've been sitting here, what, an hour or so talking? So.
Okay. All right. Hi, Diane. There you are. Finally, you made it. All right. So our topic today is Christ consciousness.
Yeah.
And my dear friend Amy, who is very studious and scholarly, took all kinds of time for research and talking to people and priests and
people that follow Judaist path, the Muslim path, the Baptist path, the Baha'i Temple path.
the hot tub bath. Is that what you said?
Baha'i Temple.
I can follow the hot tub bath.
As long as there's wine.
Oh, Lord mercy.
I got a hold of different friends because I wanted their thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it was very interesting.
I'm sure.
You know,
Well, share a little bit.
a little bit.
A little bit. Because he's got like a novel written here.
I have a page and a half.
I didn't go into all that. My whole thought was real simple, but anyway, have at it.
Okay, well, as I was saying, I had talked to a lot of my friends and colleagues and stuff that follow different paths, and I asked them, what does the Christ consciousness mean to you? it really boiled down to all of them basically saying the same thing. The Christ consciousness is based on the, for lack of a better word, New Age movement. Okay, but it's been around for longer, they feel. But it's all about us connecting to enlightenment, finding the universal truth, completing the ascension process, just like Jesus did. In the I think, therefore I am belief system or thought process. And it was kind of funny because my Catholic priest friend, he's like in his late 70s. He's like, I'm going to add a little bit to that. And he goes, what if the true essence of Christ consciousness,
What if?
Okay, which is you,
Me.
Okay, which you cannot be touched, seen,
Touched,
seen, heard, because of you are a three-dimensional quality person, okay? But we're all, in fact, souls reincarnated to have a physical human experience, and then our soul is then to ascend back up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it was very interesting because across
this was from the Catholic
the
dude?
Catholic priest, yes,
Okay.
who's, like I said, in his late 70s.
Okay.
Him and I talk quite often,
Okay.
and he believed the same, that yes, we are in a new age way of thinking. Okay.
But really, I think it's old ways. of thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just reemerged.
Right.
And he was telling me how, because I asked him, I'm like, okay, because he explained that. I'm like, okay, I get that. But why are we looking at it as a new age movement? He's like, because think about this, of what I just said. We're here to have a human experience.
Right.
Right?
I agree.
He's like, so if it's an old thought process that's just reemerging because in this point in time, we need to have another human experience so our soul can ascend.
Right.
That's why.
What's your question?
It's not a question. It was a statement.
I personally believe in reincarnation.
Right.
Because, and I think every incarnation, we grow a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And in order to experience all the experiences that we have to have, I think at one point we're rich, at one point we're poor, at one time we're evil, at one time we're good, at one time we're ugly, and one time we're beautiful, and one time we're mean, one time we're benevolent. And I think that's just all part of the whole process.
I have, Diane, yes.
I think I did. I think I did read that. We were just talking about how much I don't read, but I do think I read that.
It's a very good book.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're right. I mean, with reincarnation, we can possibly look at the Christ consciousness being in part of the reincarnation process. Could we?
Well, I think the reincarnation process, I think the Christ consciousness is in every incarnation. Getting stronger, getting bolder, getting better, getting more grounded, getting more directed, getting more solid. Because I think I see, this is my opinion, okay, boys and girls. My opinion for whatever I do or don't know. And most of the time I don't know shit, so.
She just doesn't want to admit it.
No, that's not true. I think the Christ consciousness is alive in all of us. Is it active? No, not in all of us, because we haven't chosen to go that route yet.
Right.
But the Christ consciousness, to me, is just trying to do, be, act, live, love like Christ did. Just simple. And I've often said, and you've all probably seen it on my Facebook at one point or another, if we would just do what Christ did and quit worrying about all the other bullshit from the rest of the world and doctrines and creeds and everything else, the world would be a better place. To me, that's what Christ consciousness is trying to be Christ-like. And So that's there. So I think that consciousness is within us all. It's just whether or not, if and when we choose to activate it.
I agree wholeheartedly. And actually, my one Muslim friend actually had said that too. That
I agree with you, Diane. I do believe we choose to come. Yeah. And I whatever life we choose to come into, I think we chose that too. We chose our parents, and sometimes we think, what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
But there's a reason for it.
Right. And if we don't understand what that lesson or what that reason was, then we have to continue in this.
If we don't listen,
right.
If we don't glean and move our souls, because I think, again, according to me, I guess I'm just trying to make the point when I'm joking about that is that I certainly am not the be all and do all and know all of anything. Okay, so I'm not trying to profess that either. I think we are all fragments of God, and we're all just trying to get back to the whole. And I think the whole, the concept of us being made of stars, that we are all star seeds, in some cases it's called, is part of that. I think we all came from God. I think we all return to God. And I know that's going to ruffle some feathers because, the whole heaven hell thing, but I think we all return back to source. And that's why we're here. Because every time we incarnate, we're done. We're a little bit closer to getting back home. Yeah. And next time a little bit closer. And I think we're just all trying to get back home and to the whole once again. So I think we're all fragments of God.
Where we come from. And
why does there seem to be fewer souls who believe in Christ these days? Well, I don't know if that's a completely true statement. I think mainstream media shows us a lot of dark, ugly stuff. But I understand that it seems that way. But I think there are pockets all over the planet, little pockets, big pockets, evolving and growing pockets of people that they might not call it Christ consciousness, but they are walking in the light. They're walking as people that are kind and benevolent and loving and compassionate and empathetic and willing to give and willing to share and willing to be like the Christ consciousness. So I understand, Diane, what you're saying, that it seems like we're going backwards and it seems like it's getting worse, but it's because we don't hear about the good stuff. Right. We don't hear about the pockets of people that are so benevolent and so kind. When there's a catastrophe, we see some of that, people pitching in and helping each other and helping people rebuild and helping them with food. And we get a little piece here and there. But that is not the norm. That's not what we're fed. That's not what we're shown. No. We are shown the ugly. And I think that goes into another spin-off of keeping people in a place of fear and doubt and lack and suppression and division. Yeah. But I maybe it's just what I choose to see, but I choose to believe that we are coming to, I think like we've been probably hundreds of years kind of plateaued in a space of greed and lack and fear and anger and depression and sadness. And I think we are coming up, we're gradually, and I think that gradual is speeding up personally. We're getting up to a point where we're starting to understand that things don't have to be the way they are. The best way for us to know what we do want is to know what we don't want. And I think the world is getting to a point where they're getting vivid pictures, not just here in the state or in the United States, but all over the world. They're getting vivid pictures of what they don't want. And therefore putting an exclamation point on what they do want. So I think mainstream media does not show us that. They don't want to show us that because it doesn't serve their agenda. But I believe in my heart, and I believe from the people that I know personally and the people and the situations that I see on non-mainstream stuff, there's a lot of beautiful people out there, and I think we are evolving. I think we're moving towards, and it's getting faster and faster, and it probably puts a lot of people on edge. That's what I think. Let's go see what down here.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Ruffle feathers. It's our silence that has allowed this lack of growth. We don't gently confront. Yeah, that's a true statement. There is so much hate out there now. Why? Media. Yes, I think it's media. I absolutely do. I think it's power and control. And the best way to control somebody is to keep them scared. Yep. And there's a big, and I don't want to spin off on something else either with this, but I think there's a huge agenda out there, a huge agenda that we are not made aware of, and we're a lot of people are just, they're running in fear and they don't even know it. It's gotten to be the norm. But I do not believe for 1 minute that that is the majority of the world. It is the people in power.
Yeah.
It is the majority of the power players, but it's not the majority of the world. I don't believe that for a minute.
I don't think it can be either, because we
Thanks, Diane.
we need to realize
Hello.
that even, okay, like for instance me, like you were saying earlier, I don't watch news. I don't
watch the news.
I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspaper, because there's nothing good ever. Okay. And like for instance, a friend of mine had talked the other night when the towers fell. That was a horrific thing. But they showed that, and then they started showing some of the stories about the people, right? Very rarely do you see people dead. So I don't watch the media, because one thing I've found, if I'm paying attention to the media or the higher powers or those in power, the powerful, right, I lose who I'm trying to connect to.
Right.
I lose who I want to be, which is, making myself right in whatever deity I choose or path I choose, or, treating others and guiding myself to a higher plane. It literally dampens. And it's not just the media. Sometimes it's just walking outside in society.
Sometimes it is.
You walk out and you're just like, boom.
And I think that's a good point, because I think it's vitally important to keep your tribe, your community, your relationships positive and uplifting and caring and loving people. And if that's not the case, I just did a little thing on my Facebook page about that. If that's not the case, then it's maybe time to make some changes in your life, because you've heard the story about the good wolf and the bad wolf that's inside all of us. And the kid says to the old man, well, if we've got a good wolf and a bad wolf, which one wins? The one you feed. The one you feed the most, that's the one that's going to win. And I believe that to be true. I am highly blessed and highly grateful that my tribe, the people that I care about the most, the people that I connect with the most, are on not necessarily my path, but they are on a path of love and compassion and growth and spirituality. And they are trying the best they can to walk the Christ consciousness, at least in my definition of the Christ consciousness. They are trying the very best that they can, and that's all we can ever do. So
I agree wholeheartedly. And I even made you that post on there too.
Right.
We are one, really.
We are.
When we divert or walk away from realizing that we are connected as one, and we allow, an element or a situation or a person to disrupt that. And if you don't walk away, if you don't self-preserve and self-love, you're adding to the negative, not the positive.
Sometimes you have to let those people go and just love them from a distance. That doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you go and bitch about them and badmouth them. All. It's just love them from a distance. That's not always easy. It's not easy for me, because I got a mouth. So
same here. Very, very same. But your intellectual development and your emotional maturity is going to lead you on the better Christ consciousness path. Think of it that way.
Yes, Diane, I know you have struggles with politics. I have struggles with politics too. Lots of politics. I don't like politics. I think they're all, probably not all, but the most of them are greedy and self-serving. I don't care who they are. There's very few, maybe a small handful, and I couldn't pick out which ones they were. I do not believe that they are in there for the people. I think this is what I think, okay? I think a lot of good people go into politics for good reason. I think their hearts are pure, their agenda is straight, they are convicted to what it is that they want. But I think once you get in that cesspool, things change. And this is why I think they change. This is why I think they change. This is how I think they change. And this may sound really dramatic and a little overboard. And these are very big examples, but just to get you the point, and it's probably in a much simpler, more passive way. I think if somebody goes into politics with an agenda of fairness and kindness and benevolence and whatever else, I don't care what it is. If their hearts are good and they go into that with that agenda, somebody's going to come to them sooner or later and they're going to say one of two things. They're going to say, I need your vote. I need you to sway this person. I need you to talk this person into doing it the way I want to. If you do, I'm going to make it worth your while. I'm going to make it a little better for you. I can maybe get you a raise. Maybe I can get you a new car. Maybe I can get you better health insurance. Maybe I can blah, 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 blah. Or on the flip side, I think there's a lot of this going on. And I know this is an exaggerated example, but I want to get the point across. On the flip side of that, I think good people go in there with a good agenda and good hearts. And then somebody says to either what I just said, or they say, well, if you don't do it my way, I wonder if your kids are going to make it in college. I wonder if you're going to, you even going to have kids? They're going to be around? Wonder if your house might burn down. Now, I know those are exaggerated examples, but I'm trying to get to the point where I'm trying to help you to understand that I think they are manipulated. And I think they are manipulated not because they want to be, but I think oftentimes because they have to be. They have to be manipulated if they want to feel safe, if they want to feel like I got a job, whatever. It's just, and it happens in the workplace all the time. You can see something wrong in the workplace, and if you go and you tell somebody about it, chances are you're going to piss off 3 or 4 other people. They're going to make your life miserable, and you're going to get fired. Or you're going to piss off the boss, and he's going to say, you know what, you're a troublemaker. You stir the pot all the time. Get out. Okay, so I think that's what happens in a lot of politics. So I have little to no faith in politics. That's why I don't watch it. That's why I don't engage in it. What little bit I do at times, I usually get angry about it. And there's nothing that I feel I can do about it. It's too big. It's too big. It's too complicated. It's too controlled. It's controlled by, I believe, people far above what we see on the news every day in our Congress, in our Senate, our president. It's above that. I think there's much more control going on. I think they are all puppets on a string. That's what I think. Okay.
Manipulation or bullying. It's one of the two.
I think my grandchildren might self-preservation allow the country to not be preserved. Yeah, it might be. It might happen. And I think this is all, I'm going to go back to the Christ consciousness. This is all part of the spiritual revolution that I believe we are going through right now. I think we are soon to hit the age of Aquarius. I think 2022 is when it's in full bloom. And again, we know best what we want when we know what we don't want. And we're getting vivid, disgusting pictures of what we don't want, and I think we will see a change. I really do.
I think we already are right now.
I do too. We just don't see it on mainstream media.
Because I think where we're seeing it, well, at least where I'm seeing it now, being a reader and things that I do, I'm seeing it on the more personal level. You're right. I don't see it in the mainstream media. I don't see it on the higher ups in government and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that that I don't love the United States. I do. Okay. My husband's a Vietnam veteran. I know many veterans. I'm very grateful. Okay. But I'm very much like you. I do nothing with the government, to be honest. I can't. It disgusts me, put it that way. But working within the medium that I do, I see this change happening more and more and rapidly. I'll have a person come sit at my table. We'll talk for 5 or 10 minutes, and they leave and they pass that on.
Right.
We're seeing it more in the mainstream where we are.
In our mainstream, our personal mainstream.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So we have to realize we are a ripple effect.
Exactly.
If you want to change, that huge outer, make sure it's changed
I have a veteran sitting over there playing with my dog.
My husband does the same. Don't worry. It's all good.
Just pisses me off with our veterans. These veterans, men and women, not only from Vietnam or from the current Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever, or I don't care, for World War I, I don't care. Doesn't matter. They go over there. They do this job. They do it the very best that they can. They come home and we treat them like shit.
Exactly.
We don't help them. We don't help them with the GI Bill. What the hell is that? I mean, who can use it? You know, I mean, how
you have 2 years to use that.
The medical, the PTSD, the psychology, the physical well-being. There's just too many things, and I think our government uses and abuses them and kicks them to the road, and it pisses me off.
But yeah, and I'm very much with you on that. And you know, my husband is a Vietnam veteran. He's 65 years old, myriad of health issues. Just recently, in the last couple of months, diagnosed with dementia. Okay. We were actually today at a restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant was from the airborne. My husband and him were talking, and every time I see a veteran, every time I see a person in uniform, I go up to them and I tell them, thank you for your service. The gentleman today goes, well, thank you for that, but I don't need it. And I looked at him dead in the eye, and I'm very much about respecting my elders. I looked him dead in the eye and said, yes, you do. And he goes, well, why? I said, because you and many like you have gone and done something that our government asked. Not you, not the people, the government asked. You put your life on the line. You came home. And he was in Vietnam, you were called everything nasty in the book. Mm-hmm. And even to this day, I've watched Iraqi people from the Iraqi freedom come back, and they're treated horribly. My group and I go out, and you know this, friend. My group and I go out. We don't work with the homeless veterans program itself. We do it ourselves. I literally go out and help homeless veterans with foods, with clothing, toiletries, to put them in a house. There is no reason, none, that there should be homelessness here. And there should be no damn good reason our vets should be homeless, period. That is not walking in Christ consciousness on that global level.
It is not.
It's not.
So anyway,
sorry. It's a toughy topic.
We got off on a bit of a tangent, and we've been here already 30 minutes. So anybody got any comments, questions, or concerns that you would like to hear our opinions on, go ahead and post them. A couple of people have lost us. I don't know what happened. We're everything's kosher here. We're on the internet. I got lots of battery. Everything's good. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. I know Facebook had real issues early this morning. Mm-hmm. A lot of people couldn't even get on. Yeah. So maybe they're still having some glitches. So let's give it just a couple more minutes. If we get some comments or questions or whatever, we'll try to focus on those for a few minutes, and then we're going to get out of here. Mm-hmm. When's our next one?
Next month we decided to do it once a month for the summer. So May, June, July, August, I think we said, is going to be once a month. The next one is May 19th. No, not the 19th. May 19th.
We're going to talk about synchronicities.
Yes.
On May 19th.
And then in July, what we're going to do is, because Frannie had posted what we would like to hear from you, questions and answers. What would you like to hear from us and things like that.
Different topics you might want us to talk about.
Right. So we're going to do a Q&A come July.
Yeah, we've got some people that gave us some questions, and so we're going to hit those. If we get some more, that's great too. Okay. Right. All right, no questions. Everybody's either lost us or tired of us, so cool. We're good. We got a little heated there. Sorry about that. It's just a sore subject for me when people are hurting and there's no reason for it. So, okay, bless you all. Have a great and wonderful Sunday afternoon. We'll see you in a month or so. Love you a bunch. Namaste.
Namaste.